In this video, I'm going to show you how to process an OSD dataset on the NASA EDGE platform. So you'll start by logging into the platform at nasa.edgebioinformatics.org. If you're not already logged in, you could watch the login video. And then once you're logged in, you'll see the home screen here. And then you're going to go ahead and click the AMP pipeline to bring you to the Amplicon sequencing workflow. And then when you're here, you want to first select the OSD dataset from the Open Science Data Repository. So there's a link out to the repository that you can click and you'll get to the repository landing page here. You're going to want to select Amplicon sequencing, and then you could do a keyword search if there's a particular study you're interested in. I'm going to scroll down here to OSD 268, which is a microbial and nutritional analysis of lettuce crops that were grown on the International Space Station. And you'll see there's two Amplicon sequencing data sets there. So now that I know that I'm going to do 268, I'll go ahead and create my project run name. I'm going to analyze the 16S data set. You're going to click Start with OSD or GLDS, and then you're going to want to put that accession number in the accession box there. And then you could set your parameters. If you're unsure what they are, you could click that little I button next to it, and there will be a definition of what those parameters are. If this is a data set that's already been processed on OSDR and you just want to do the same exact processing steps, you can go to the study page under GeneLab Process Diversity Amplicon Files, Processing Info, and then I'm clicking the 16S Processing Info here because that's the data set I want to analyze. You could download that zip file, save it to your local desktop, and then you will be able to pull that up. And that will give you all of the information for how that study was processed. And so you can go ahead and unzip that folder, and then you'll find this config YAML file in there that you can then open, and you'll be able to see what all of the parameters were that was used to process that data on OSDR. So you're going to be looking for things such as whether or not the primers were trimmed. In this case, they were not. You'll also be seeing if the primer should be linked or not, if you should discard the untrimmed data, what the target region is. In this case, it's the 16S data set. And then you'll look for the left and right truncation parameters and max error parameters, as well as the minimum cut adapt length. And so then once you're confident in what those values are, you can also put these up side by side. You'll just go ahead and select them throughout this drop-down menu here. Just as a reminder, again, if you don't know what these parameters are, you click that info button and it'll tell you. So I'm just going to go ahead here and mimic how this data set was processed. In this particular case, we noticed that the raw data on the repository wasn't actually raw. It was already trimmed, which is why we're not trimming the primers here. And then all these other settings are going to be consistent with what was in that YAML file. And then once I'm satisfied, kind of just the next thing I'm going to do here is pull up that config YAML file again from the repository, just to double check that I indeed made all of these settings consistent with what was used to process the data. Again, this is just if you want to use the same parameters that were used to process the data set on OSDR. But of course, if you want to process it in a different way using different parameter settings, you are more than welcome to do so. And once you're satisfied with the parameters that you select, you can just scroll down to the bottom of the page here and click Submit. And you will be submitting your job to the run queue. And then you'll be able to monitor your job here. And you can click, you see the status is first in queue, and then you click that refresh button. You'll eventually see that it moved to the processing status, and then from there it'll move to the running status. And now, depending on the size of your data set, it could take anywhere from 15 minutes to maybe up to an hour to run. And then you'll see a complete in the status. If it completed successfully, it will say failed if not. Click that little icon on the left to go to the information about the study you just processed. You'll be able to go under General and see all the parameter settings that you used. And then you can go under Ampalumina result to get your results. Starting first, just scrolling down from the bottom here, there's a read count tracking table. This is each row is a sample, and then you see what the number of reads are for that sample after each processing step. And then that last column there is the final % remaining reads from original. All of these columns are sortable by clicking those arrows to the right of the column name. And then here's the taxonomy and counts. So for each Amplicon sequencing variant, you can see the raw counts for each respective sample. And then there's also the taxonomies there as well. And now up the top here, first starting with the alpha diversity results. So if you're unsure what these mean, you can go ahead and click on the link that goes out to the GeneLab GitHub repository. And in there, you'll see a description of what alpha diversity is, and then the different alpha diversity metrics that are analyzed in the GeneLab workflow. And then from there, you'll see the actual code that was used to generate these data. So you'll see the rare fraction code here, and then kind of scroll past that. And looking at the output data files, you'll be able to see the name of these files, which are consistent with which on the EDGE platform. And then each one of them in parentheses is a definition for what that file contains. And so then you have the richness and diversity estimates here. And again, scrolling down, you'll see the output data, get a statistics table and a summary table. And you'll see that there's 4 different analyses that are done here. And then this is the code for the plot generation. And so you'll see these plots that are generated from the alpha diversity analyses. So starting here, you see that rare fraction curve, and then you see the metrics for observed in Shannon, both at the group level and at the individual sample level. And then you also have your metric statistics for each group and your metric summary. If you notice that a group is missing, it could be that the filtering made that group didn't pass the filtering parameters. Next here is beta diversity, same thing. You'll be able to link out to the documentation on the GitHub repository, where you'll find a definition of beta diversity and the different analyses that are done in the GeneLab pipeline that use Bray-Curtis dissimilarity as well as Euclidean distance. And so you can scroll down to the bottom of that section there, and you will see all the outputs, including dendrograms, PCOA plots, etc. And so starting here with the Bray-Curtis, you see those results, the PCOA and the dendrograms, as well as the Adonis invariant statistics. And then you click the Euclidean distance buttons, and you see the outputs for the Euclidean distance analysis as well. Next, moving on to the taxonomy tab here. This is showing you the taxonomy by group as well as by individual sample. And then you can pick the taxa that you want to see this by. So we have phyla, class, order, family, genus, and then for the Amplicons can be specified down to the species level. Those are also there and available. And then lastly, going to differential abundance here, we do 3 different methods for differential abundance analysis: ANCOM-BC, ANCOM-BC2, and DE-seq2. And then you'll see a pairwise volcano plot for the results for each pairwise comparison that was made. And then you'll have the sample info table, tell you the sample, the groups that each sample belongs to, the pairwise contrasts that were done, and then the differential abundance table showing the ASBs, the taxa. We also have the NCBI tax ID if it was available for that taxonomy, as well as the normalized counts values for each ASB for each sample. And then you'll get into the pairwise statistics. And then, and this is the pairwise statistics for each pairwise comparison that was done. And then at the end of the table here, you'll find group means and group standard deviations. And again, all this at the top links out to the documentation on GitHub to learn more. And then you could just click in ANCOM-BC2. You'll see the same thing, but these are just the results from the ANCOM-BC2 analysis, which is a bit more conservative than the ANCOM-BC. And then lastly, the results from the DE-seq2 analysis. Same thing with those volcano plots, as well as all the way down to the differential abundance table at the end there. And then if you want to download these results, you'll go to the download outputs file, click that Ampalumina folder. You can see data such as a run sheet that was generated from the metadata. You can click on these to be able to save them locally. And then you'll see the software versions used under metadata, all your raw sequence data in QC that was done, so fast QC and multi QC. You can see the compute resources that were used, when processing your data, FastQC outputs from your raw and filtered data, as well as your filtered sequence data, outputs, again, the sequence data itself, as well as the QC. And then in this final outputs folder is the plots that are available on this GUI here. So all the alpha diversity plots and tables, and the beta diversity, same thing, all the plots and tables, as well as differential abundance. And you have it for the 3 different analyses that are done, ANCOM-BC, ANCOM-BC2, and DESeq2, as well as that contrast and sample table. And then lastly, here are those taxonomy plots for each for each level of taxa there. And that is everything for how you process an OSD data set on NASA EDGE.